You can get the cards you need for today's Budget Magic deck and support the show from this episode's sponsor, Card Kingdom. Just follow the link in the description box down below. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic. So this week, we are heading to Modern to play a deck that certainly isn't new. We're playing Zombie Tribal, and zombies are as old as Magic itself. They've been around since the beginning. However, thanks to Core Set 2019, we get some new additions to the tribe. Also, we finally can play this deck because Death Baron, one of the key zombie lords, is a lot cheaper. Finally, thanks to being reprinted when it was stupid expensive not that long ago. So this week we're heading to Modern to hopefully curve out with some zombies, play a ton of zombie lords, and maybe kill the opponent before they draw into their sweepers or too much removal or combo off or whatever. So as you can see, $100 in the paper world, 33 ticks on Magic Online, so not a bad price for a super sweet tribal deck. A quick reminder before we break down Mono Black Zombies for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you enjoy Budget Magic in general, it would be amazing of you if you could take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So let's talk Mono Black Zombies, starting with our 1-drops, and probably the easiest way to look at this deck is just work our way right up the curve. So in the 1-drop slot, we got a bunch of options, but the sweetest is Crypt Breaker. You might remember this one from its time in Standard when it was just kind of the key piece of the standard zombie deck that ended up winning a Pro Tour. But 1 mana, not a great attacker, it's just a 1/1, but you get a ton of abilities. So you can pay 2, discard a card, make a 2/2 black zombie. So if we happen to flood out, draw too many lands, we can discard cards for value, or we have some zombies that kind of like having zombies in the graveyard, and Crypt Breaker gives us a way to enable that. Also, we can tap 3 zombies to draw a card and lose a life, which is really nice in slower, grindier matchups. And remember, this doesn't require our zombies to not be summoning sick, so we can play Crypt Breaker, play a couple other zombies, tap them right away to get some immediate value, and if the game kind of bogs down and goes long, we can just kind of draw our way through our deck with the power of our 1-drop. So Crypt Breaker, kind of an engine piece. Then we have our more aggressive 1-drops. Gravecrawler, most expensive card in our deck, but it's really good in Zombie Tribal. It works well with Crypt Breaker because we can discard it and then just cast it from our graveyard, and it gives us a recursive threat. If our opponent can kill it or block it or whatever, it just keeps coming back, and as you'll see in a minute, we got a ton of zombie lords, so while it looks like a 2/1, it's often going to be a 3/2 or a 4/3, which makes it a really strong threat, especially when it can just slam into any amount of blockers and just keep coming back from the graveyard. And then Diagraph Ghoul, just kind of our filler 1-drop. It's not super crazy, but it is a 2/2 for 1, so it does have nice stats. Entering the battlefield tapped, normally not a huge issue, although it does make it kind of bad on defense and kind of slow. But together, these cards give us a ton of options in the 1-drop slot. As far as the 2-drop slot, we got to go a little bit janky here because one of the best zombie 2-drops, Relentless Dead, is still really expensive, even though it doesn't really see play anywhere. But we have Graveyard Marshal, new edition from M19, and a very strong card in its own right. The upside of Graveyard Marshal is it gives us another card that's on curve on turn 2. A 3/2 for 2 is already fine, and then if the game goes long, we can just eat random zombies that we discarded to Crypt Breaker that died to removal to keep this steady stream of zombie pressure going. So really helpful against control decks, any sort of mid-rangey style decks. Hybrid Ghoul, on the other hand, a weird choice. There's not a lot of great mono black zombie 2-drops. Once you have Graveyard Marshal, and if you can't play Relentless Dead, Hybrid Ghoul has the upside of having like pseudo unblockability, can only be blocked by black creatures or artifact creatures, which means if we're playing against Death Shadow, we're obviously a little bit sad, or playing against Affinity, we're a little sad, but in some matchups it's just unblockable. And when we get some lords on the battlefield and we're hitting for 3 or 4 a turn with our opponent not being able to block it, it can end up being a pretty good threat in its own right. Then we have, in the 3-drop slot, the Parade of Lords, and one of the reasons to play zombies is they get a ton of good 3-mana lords, so each one is a little bit different. Cemetery Reaper is our best lord in kind of controlling matchups. Giving our zombies +1/+1 is great, and then in removal, heavy, slower matchups, being able to eat a creature from any graveyard, so we can eat them from our opponent's graveyard too to make a 2/2 zombie. Really nice way to just kind of rebuild when there's a lot of resources being traded off, removal spells flying around. Lord of the Accursed, on the other hand, is our best aggro lord because not only is it pumping our zombies, but paying 2 to tap it and give all of our zombies menace is a good way to get in an alpha attack and close out the game. And then Death Baron does really well on offense and on defense. Our new addition from Core Set 2019, well, not a new addition, but newly available to budget decks because it was really expensive, like over $10 a copy. It's much, much cheaper now, so we can actually play it in a budget deck. And the nice thing about this is it gives all of our zombies Death Touch, which makes it really hard for opponent to block them. Like, we can swing our small zombies into Tarmogoyfs and Death Shadows and Eldrazi, and our opponent isn't really going to want to block because they're going to lose their creature. Also works well on defense. We can leave back zombies on defense and trade up for much bigger creatures. So together, this gives us 12 lords, which means we should be able to relatively consistently have curves where we're going like 1-drop on turn 1, 1-drop on turn 2, or even a 2-drop on turn 2, into a lord on turn 3, maybe another lord on turn 4, and just suddenly all of our random 1-drops that are 2-powered or like 4-powered and our 2-drops are hitting for 5 damage and allowing us to close out the game really quickly by stacking up the lord effects. And the upsides on all these cards give us value in different matchups, so we have a little bit of something for just about every matchup. As far as our utility spells, Dark Salvation, kind of a removal spell, a zombie making spell, it works pretty well. Mostly it's just killing something and we're making like one zombie. We don't get a ton of lands on the battlefield. Modern is a fast format, so it's not like we're often going to be like, okay, pay 7 mana, make 3 zombies. Instead, it's more like we're playing a bunch of zombies, so we can pay this even for just 1 mana and kill a relatively big creature thanks to all the zombies we have on the battlefield. And then if we happen to flood out and the game goes long, it gives us a little extra value along the way while we kill something. Cast Down hits most of the things in the format. Relatively good removal spell for the deck. Disfigure gives us a way to kill creatures in the early game. Mana base, super straightforward, 23 swamps, about as simple as it can be. In the sideboard, we have Duress for combo and control matchups, Dapping Sphere for Tron and Storm and Eggs and all those big turn type decks, Nile Spellbomb to deal with graveyards. Very focused on beating control and combo because our main deck, we got all these big zombie creatures, so hopefully we can tangle with creature decks more or less alright with our main deck. But we do have a bit more removal. Disfigure for like Affinity, other aggro decks, just a really cheap removal spell. Doomblade if we just need to kill pretty much anything. And that is Mono Black Zombies for Modern. And that is our budget magic deck for this week. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I like tribal decks, and Zombies is a sweet tribe. It's not one of those tribal decks where you just slam your stuff and hope for the best. You got Cryptbreaker, drawing cards. You got all this weird graveyard value where you're able to turn useless dead zombies into living zombies or living undead zombies by making zombie tokens. So there's a little bit more to it than a typical tribal deck where you might just curve out, play lord, play lord, play lord. There's a little bit more play here as opposed to a deck like Merfolk, for example, which is pretty much just slam lords and attack, no tricks involved. We got some tricks. We can go long with grave crawlers and card draw and graveyard eating effects. So I think it's going to be a pretty sweet deck. I'm excited to give it a shot. So anyway, that's Mono Black Zombies. That's our budget deck for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the gameplay, and I will talk to you soon. All right, budget magic time. We are playing some Mono Black Zombies in Modern, and yeah, we'll keep this. We would like to find land number 3, but this hand's fine. Play a swamp, play a grave crawler. Go attacking. See what our opponent's up to. Opponent, Bloodstained Mire, cracks it. Watery Grave, untapped. And Thoughtseize. Sure. I assume they just take Cryptbreaker. Opponent takes Cryptbreaker, passes. Well, we draw a swamp, get him with Gravecrawler. Hit our opponent down to 13, and pass the turn. Flooded Strand. Opponent cracks it. Steam Vents down to 10. Thought Scours. Mills some lands. And there's a Tassiger, which is actually kind of obnoxious. Opponent passes. I'll play the Swamp. That is a creature that dodges our Cast Down. Play Death Baron. Get him a Gravecrawler. Opponent takes it. Yeah, Cast Down has been a little bit hit or miss in my experience. Not hitting Legends actually is a meaningful drawback in some situations. Opponent passing. Well, get him a Gravecrawler. Opponent blocks, and then they're going to kill Death Baron. Yep, Death Baron down. So then we play Graveyard Marshal. Replay Gravecrawler. Opponent's got the Fatal Push. Alright. All the removals. Opponent. Jesus, so unfortunate. This Cast Down, I don't know. I don't know. I guess Doomblade wouldn't have done it either. Go for the Throat would have. But then if we were playing against Affinity, we'd probably be complaining about how our Go for the Throat couldn't kill anything. But if this was a removal spell that could kill Tasigur, we likely would have won by now. There's a Death Shadow. Opponent. Passing. I mean, I guess we play Cemetery Reaper and take our beats. Play the Swamp. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks. Watery Grave. Tapped. Opponent. Oh boy. More Death Shadows. Alright. And I think we've just been outclassed. We needed the aggro win here with by killing that Tasigur. But that dream is pretty dead now. Well, try to kill Death Shadow. Play Diregraph Ghoul. Pass the turn. The problem is we just can't force through any damage. Opponent Thought Scours. Opponent Thought Scours. Polluted Delta. Opponent attacks. Attacks. Well, now we got to chump just to stay alive. Or try to stay alive. Opponent cracks. Blood Crypt. Untapped. And then what, they have a Lightning Bolt? Alright, Snapcaster for Lightning Bolt, and that does it. Yeah, that was a depressing cast down. I feel like if cast down was another card, we likely would have been able to win that game. Alright, run it back. We can't really change anything. We just gotta hope for the best. Alright, we get to play first. I mean, okay. Play Gravecrawler, cast all the lords, and hope, hope, hope. Play a Swamp. Gravecrawler. Go. Opponent. Blood Crypt. Untapped. And there's an Inquisition. Well, my guess is they take one of our lords. We were right. Not a great time to draw more swamps. Get in with Gravecrawler. Play a Swamp. Pass the turn. Bloodstained Mire. Opponent cracks it. Watery Grave untapped down to 13. Serum Visions. Opponent passes. Well, play a Swamp. Play Lord of the Accursed. Go attacking. Wow, kills a Gravecrawler. Interesting. Alright, pass the turn. Serum Visions. There's a land. Bloodstained Mire. Opponent passing. Well, get back Gravecrawler. Play a Swamp. Play Lord of the Accursed. Go attacking. Opponent takes it. Down to 10. Well, I mean, we'll see. We're close to presenting lethal. And one blocker isn't that great because of these Lord of the Accursed. Blood Crypt. Tapped. You know, once they stop losing life, that things are not going exactly how they hoped. Ooh, Crypt Breaker's sweet. Well, attack with everything. Make our opponent do something. Cracks Bloodstained Mire. Might be Snapcaster Fatal Push. Or just Fatal Push. Opponent Fatal Pushes. Wow. All the Fatal Pushes. Down to 7. Well, play Gravecrawler. Play Highborn Ghoul. Play Crypt Breaker. Opponent Thought Scours. Ugh. Is it Staticaster? Oh, please no. For the love of God. Not that. We got no lords left. Opponent had so many Fatal Pushes. Opponent. Serum Visions. I mean, technically we're presenting lethal again, even with all of our lords being dealt with. 2 cards to the bottom. Are we getting there? We do get to draw a card. And opponent scoops it up! I don't know what their hand was, but it was not dealing with our zombies. And, sweet. We will definitely take that. Any changes? I guess Disfigure's bad. Maybe we just bring in Nile Spellbomb. Doomblade doesn't help. Our removal package is not great for this matchup, honestly. Okay. I mean, we'll try this. We got some lords. Polluted Delta. Opponent cracks it. Here comes discard of some sort. Watery Grave. Oh, Serum Visions. Alright. Not discard. Opponent passes. Well, play the Swamp. Play Crypt Breaker. Ship the turn. Opponent. There's the Inquisition. Takes Nile Spellbomb. Plays an island. And Serum Visions. Yep. Opponent's getting things set up. Opponent, 2 cards to the bottom. And passes. Well, I mean, I guess we Crypt Breaker and Crypt Breaker and start drawing cards. Pass the turn. I don't think they have a way to punish us from having 3 creatures with the same name. Flooded Strand. Opponent cracks. Down to 16. Watery Grave. Down to 14. Snapcaster Mage. For Inquisition, alright, gonna take one of our lords. I assume Death Baron, since that one's better against their big creatures. Yep. Takes Death Baron. Opponent passing. Well, let's draw a card. Ooh, Lord of the Accursed. And Gravecrawler. Well, play the Swamp. Play Cemetery Reaper. And go attacking. We gotta try to close this game out. Hit our opponent. They trade with a Crypt Breaker. Yep. Down to 10. This does mean our opponent can play Death Shadows if they have them. What do you got, opponent? What do you got? What do you got? Big old Tassiger. Opponent passes. Well, play Lord of the Accursed. And pass the turn. Menace is pretty legit. Kills a Crypt Breaker. Okay. Untaps. We might actually be in pretty good shape here. Death Shadow. Opponent's passing. Well, draw a card. It's a Swamp. And a Gravecrawler. Oh, play a Swamp. Play Cemetery Reaper. Play Gravecrawler. And pass the turn. Alright, opponent, you need something pretty good. We have a pretty big board full of zombies here. Opponent. Passing. Well, we draw a card. Swamp. And Diregraph Ghoul. Do we go for it or do we wait one more turn? Play the Swamp. Do we just win if we menace and attack with everything? We don't necessarily just win. We could just attack with Gravecrawler and wait one more go. And, like, make a zombie, play our hand. So we tap, we menace. One removal spell would beat us. Alright, let's just get him with Gravecrawler. Snapcaster. 4 Fatal Push. Alright, opponent's staying alive. Fatal Push is Crypt Breaker. Well, let's discard Gravecrawler, make a zombie. Do we want to draw a card? I guess we should probably leave back some defense. Alright, Crypt Breaker down. Opponent takes it. Well, get back Gravecrawler. Play Diregraph Ghoul. Pass the turn. All right, opponent. I mean, we got to go for it next turn. There's no not going for it next turn. Red mana. Tapped. Death Shadow. Opponent. Passing. Well, I mean, yeah. Menace. Combat. Attack with everything. And opponent scoops it up, and we got there. Zombies taking down the Death Shadows. Okay. That was pretty impressive. I was feeling glum after round 1, but zombies pulled through. Deck has some staying power, apparently. So many lords and a bit of resiliency as well. Sweet. Alright, budget magic time. We are playing some mono black zombies in Modern, and we'll keep this. I mean, we got a good zombie curve. Lots of 1-drops. Opponent's doing a smidge of mulliganing. Misfill Plains. Alright, so Martyr proc. Oh, play a Swamp, play Diregraph Ghoul. Pass the turn. Island. What is going on? Oh, play the land, play Crypt Breaker, play Gravecrawler. Opponent ops. Well, we're going to pass. Oh, is our opponent playing Miracles? Callblade? Must be. Opponent's passing. Well, draw a card. Play a land, go attacking. Opponent takes it to 15. Well, play Graveyard Marshal. Opponent remands. Play Diregraph Ghoul. Pass the turn. I know sooner or later our opponent's going to Miracle Terminus, and it is going to be so bad. Opponent, Detention Sphere, hits a couple of our creatures. Sure. Unfortunately, 2 of them. Well, play Graveyard Marshal. Play Diregraph Ghoul. Go attacking. We got to kill our opponent before they luck into Terminus. That's where we're at. Opponent, Field of Ruin. And passes. We'll play the swamp. Opponent ops. We go attacking. Opponent ops. Hit our opponent to 4. Pass the turn. Well, opponent's got to find it this turn or something. All right. And opponent does not find it, and we end up getting there. Opponent stumbles a little. We were just fast enough. Well, go down Disfigure. Man, Terminus is the worst wrath for us. It is. Go down Cast Downs, Dark Salvation. Go down maybe a Death Baron or 2. Go up all the Duresses. And we're going to use Doomblade as our removal because of Baneslayer Angel potentialities, and Cast Down does not get it. All right. Ooh, okay. I do like having Duresses. That makes me happy. That's exactly what we want to be seeing in this matchup. Tap land for our opponent. Well, Swamp and let's lead on Gravecrawler. Get our beat started. Pass the turn. Tap land for our opponent. Let's play it slightly slow. Duress our opponent. Opt Detention Sphere, Cryptic, Baneslayer. We'll take Detention Sphere. Play a Swamp. Play Crypt Breaker. Get in for 2. Hit our opponent. Pass the turn. Opponent's holding on to the Opt. Man. Alright. Opponent's luck showing through. That's a Terminus. Plays a Flooded Strand. And passes. I'll play Crypt Breaker. Play Diregraph Ghoul. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks. Gets an island. Ops. To the bottom, draws a card. Field of Ruin for our opponent. Does not have Cryptic mana, though. Opponent passing. Alright, we draw Swamp. So, Duress our opponent. Sword of Light and Shadow in Cryptic. Well, I guess we gotta take the sword. Play Highborn Ghoul. Pass the turn. Opponent runs out Vendilion Click. Targets themselves. Puts a Cryptic to the bottom. Yup. There's a land. So he can get down Baneslayer. And we can't quite kill it yet. Opponent gets in. Yup. Down to 17. Alright. We need some good zombie draws. So draw a card. Swamp is not it. Oh, we're a mana short. So I think we need to draw a 1-drop zombie here. Oh, or Doomblade. That works. Doomblade, Baneslayer Angel. Play a Swamp. Play Graveyard Marshal. Pass the turn. Island. Fires up Colonnade. Yep, here they come. It's a race. It's a race. Gets in for 7. Down to 8. Well, we kill Vendilion Click, make a zombie. Play Diregraph Ghoul. Attack with everything. Hit our opponent. Down to 9. Can we win the race? Does our opponent get a lucky Terminus or a sweeper? What'd they find? What'd they find? Wow! Off the top, it's a timely. Well, they call it timely for a reason. And it's because it's a timely draw. Well, go to combat. Attack, 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 attack. Attack. Opponent blocks. And blocks. And blocks. Unblocks. Blocks. 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 Alright. Pass the turn. I mean, we got lethal. Did they hit it? That was not a Terminus. It's a Jace. They're going to need some incredible Jace luck, though. They're going to have to end with a Terminus on top of their deck and an Opt in hand. Are we going to survive a timely, a Baneslayer, and a Miracle Terminus? We are! Zombies! Through all the sideboard cards, taking down Callblade, and, yeah, wow. If you had told me going into that our opponent would have Baneslayer Angel, Timely Reinforcements, and Miracle Terminus at a very inopportune time, and that we would still win the game, I would not have believed you. Would not. No belief. Sweet. Alright, budget magic time. We are playing some mono black zombies in Modern, and we're going to ship... Oh, boy. The worst mulligan of all time. We traded a non-land card for the exact same hand. It's literally the same hand minus a Dark Salvation. And it's Storm. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, we have Storm Hate in our sideboard. We can bring in Duresses. We can bring in Damping Spheres. That's our plan. Fast clock, a little bit of disruption. Game 1, though, is likely going to be rough. Polluted Delta. Opponent passes. Well, Swamp, get in with Gravecrawler. Hit our opponent. Play Graveyard Marshal. And pass the turn. Opponent doing nothing last turn is good for us. Lightning Bolts, Graveyard Marshal. Is this not Storm? Oh, it's Grixis Control? Tap land suggests it is not Death Shadow. Island. Opponent passes. Well, play the Swamp. Get in with Gravecrawler. Hit our opponent. Play Highborn Ghoul. Play Gravecrawler. Pass the turn. Oh, Nimble Constructionist. Grixis Wizards? I don't know what's exactly happening. I guess it could be Grixis Control with also Nimble Obstructionist. Opponent's gonna be aggressive. Gets in. Hits us. Down to 17. Electrolyze is very brutal. Hopefully that's not a card in our opponent's deck. That would get us so good. Siemens tapped. Opponent passes. Well, go to combat. Attack with everything. There's Snapcaster Mage. 4 Lightning Bolt. Bolts the Ghoul. Takes 4. Well, play Diagraph Ghoul. Swamp Goo. Well, let's see if our 1-drops can get there. Maybe. The good news about Grixis Control is it is less likely to have main deck sweepers than some of the other control decks like Blue-White or Jeskai. Opponent gets it. Hits us. Down to 14. Passes. Well, play Cemetery Reaper. Go attacking. Opponent blocks and then kills Cemetery Reaper. Kolaghan's Command. That's a good way to kill it. We lose our cast down. Hit our opponent to 7. Pass the turn. Come on, zombies. More zombies. Opponent's got 2 cards. Untaps. Land. Snapcaster for Kolaghan's Command draw steps. Obnoxious. Gets in. Down to 11. We draw a useless Swamp. Well, go attacking. Not the best turn to draw a useless Swamp. Opponent takes it. Down to 3. Pass the turn. Another Nimble Obstructionist. 1 card in hand. Opponent untaps. Is it Chump Block with Obstructionist time? Zombie. It is a zombie. Alright, go attacking. Opponent blocks. Opponent blocks. Can they counter Highborn Ghoul? Oh! I guess that's a reason to play the land. We need a zombie to get back our Gravecrawlers. Opponent opts. Oh, man. I guess we should have played the land. I was not expecting Mana Leak. Opponent plays the island. Come on, zombie. 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 Any zombie. Play the Swamp. Oh, my God. Oh, no. Not like this. We have lethal Gravecrawlers in the graveyard. Delver of Secrets. Come on, zombie. Zombie. Highborn Ghoul with Mana Leak mana up. Get back Gravecrawler. Get back Gravecrawler. Pass the turn. Alright, Highborn Ghoul coming through just by being a zombie. Delver. Flips with a Spell Snare. Spell Snare doesn't help. Opponent shuffles away the Spell Snare, giving us all lethal threats, including one with Intimidate. And are we taking down Wizards? Opponent scoops it up. Opponent scoops it up. Grixis Wizards cannot compete with zombies. Highborn Ghoul. Too good. Too good. It's just too good. Oh, lordy. Lordy, lordy. That was sweet. All right. Bring in a Disfigure. Bring in a Disfigure, which just kills like all of our opponent's stuff. Go down maybe a couple of Death Barons. Actually, let's go 1 Death Baron, 1 Dark Salvation. And just, maybe we should go Doomblades over Cast Downs in this matchup. Let's try it like that. All right, doing it. Zombies! Zombies! Come on. 1 more good game. Gravecrawler's pretty sweet, coming back from the graveyard. All right. This is pretty good. Gravecrawler, Crypt Breaker, removal spell. We'll keep it. Gravecrawler in specific seems good against our opponent's deck. Opponent gets an island. Ooh, Suspends Ancestral. Well, that'll help our opponent in the long game. Let's Swamp and Gravecrawler. Pass the turn. Start crawling. Ancestral taken down. Polluted Delta. Opponent passing. I'll play the Swamp. Get in with Gravecrawler. Hit our opponent. Play Crypt Breaker. Pass the turn. Opponent ups. Yep. To the bottom. Crag's Delta. Blood Crypt. Tapped. Ancestral down to 2. So opponent's going to draw a million cards soon. Serum Visions. Getting things set up for the future. Top plays an island. Bolts the Crypt Breaker. Yep. Well, opponent passes. Play the Swamp. Get down, Lord of the Accursed. Get in with Gravecrawler. Opponent down to 13. I would feel better if it wasn't for our opponent drawing a million cards next turn. That's the part that's scaring me at the moment. Tap land for our opponent. Opponent passing. I'll play a Swamp. Play Cemetery Reaper. Go to combat. Attack. Snapcaster Mage. 4 Bolt. Blocks Gravecrawler. Alright. Bolt Cemetery Reaper. Well, we get back Gravecrawler. And pass the turn. Alright, here comes our opponent's refueling. New hand of cards, thanks to Ancestral. Hopefully they're not good cards. Island. Opponent passing. Well, let's Lord of the Accursed. Opponent remands. Alright, well, we go attacking. I guess maybe we should be bringing in Duresses. This is a lot more controlling than I thought. When I saw the Delvers and Nimble Obstructionists, I thought this was like the Wizard deck, but this is actually much more of a straightforward control deck than Wizards. Oh goodness, is it Staticaster? Opponent blocks. Well, thankfully, we get to disfigure the Staticaster, which would be brutal otherwise. Pass the turn. Mountain. 5 cards in hand for our opponent. Can we push across the finish line? Oh, we're close. Opponent's down to 5. Opponent passes. Oh, play a Swamp. Play Lord of the Accursed. Force the action. Colligan's Command gets back Staticaster. Staticaster kills our Lord of the Accursed. Oh, wow. Well, get him a Gravecrawler. Play Highborn Ghoul. And I don't know if we're going to be able to close it out now. That Staticaster play might be the end of us. We don't have a removal spell for it. And Staticaster's pretty annoying for our deck. If they can kill Lord of the Accursed, they get to just, like, wrath our board, essentially. And it looks like they can. Snapcaster Mage for another Colligan's Command. Wow. Alright. Dream Dead, Dream Dead. And there goes our other Lord, and there goes our other Lord. And now we're pretty much just out of luck. Delver of Secrets. Lord. We need a Lord or a removal spell. It's a Swamp. Alright. And that is the game. Opponent drops to 3. We get back Gravecrawler. But that does it. Now the Staticaster is just out of control and we can't win. Delver does not flip. Ancestral suspended. Scalding Tarn. I guess we could still draw Lord and have some slight chance. Opponent. Passing. Oh, more Swamps. Alright. Well, I mean, attack, but yeah, that was an unfortunate time to draw land. Oh, alright. And yeah, that does it. Well, opponent's got a lot of Staticasters. Good to know. And I don't actually know what this deck is. It seems controlling, but it also seems like they have... I don't know. I'm not sure how we fight this. Go down Dark Salvation, go up the Cast Down. We gotta be able to kill the Staticasters. I guess we just run it like that. It's a weird mix. Like, I feel like we want Duresses, but that's only for like ancestrals, and they're playing all creatures, and I don't really know what our opponent's deck is doing. All right, well, here we go. Good hand. All right, I mean, that's reasonable. We got 1-drops to start the beats. Swamp and, let's Diagraph Ghoul. Pass the turn. Mountain for our opponent, and passes. More swamps. Well, get in with Diagraph. Opponent has the Bolt. Well, play the swamp. Play Highborn Ghoul. Pass the turn. Tap land for our opponent, and Grim Lavamancer. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to kill that. Play the swamp. Kill Lavamancer. Play Diagraph Ghoul. Go attacking. Opponent down to 18. Steam Vents, untapped. Delver. Opponent passing. Even more swamps. Well, go attacking. Opponent takes it. Nope. Opponent has a Braid. So we play Gravecrawler. Play the swamp. Yeah, I don't know. Opponents killed our stuff. Do they flip? They do. The Lucky Delver flip coming through. Opponent. We don't ever flip Delver blind on turn 1. Opponent. Getting in. Hits us. Yeah. Down to 17. Passes. Vendilion Click can take our Lord. Oh no. We finally drew something we wanted, but it's going to disappear. Go attacking. Opponent blocks. We play more Gravecrawlers. Play the swamp. Pass the turn. Well, it is what it is. We got what we got. If our opponent finds an Is It Staticaster, it's pretty over. Serum Visions. What do we want from here? Graveyard Marshal would be good. Lord seems somewhat reasonable. Some way to use our graveyard as a resource is what we mostly want. Opponent. Getting in with the Delver. Yep. Left 1 card on top. Oh, no. Well, get in with Gravecrawlers. We have flooded out at very poor times this match. I feel like that is kind of the TLDR of this match is we've just drawn way too many lands. I feel like we might even be favored to actually just win this matchup, but we're just running way too hot in terms of lands to really have a realistic shot. Well, play the swamp. Play Death Baron. I assume we're dead here, though. We got to play the swamp because we know our opponent has mana leaks. And opponent did draw the Is It Staticaster. Does kill our Gravecrawlers. Well, get back Gravecrawler. Get back Gravecrawler. Pass the turn. Opponent does draw land. Gets in. Also, I mean, not to complain too much, but opponent also got the lucky, we're a creature deck, but we turn 1 flipped our Delver plan. Well, go to combat. Attack, attack. Oh my god almighty. Alright, and that, yeah, that does it. Alright. Whoo! Boy, I thought we had that. I feel like we're favored to win that match, but good god. Not that time. Not that time. Disappointing, disappointing. Crushing disappointment for the zombies. Jeez. Alright, budget magic time. We are playing some zombies in Modern, and this hand doesn't look bad. We have a decent curve. We got a Lord to top it off. Multiple 1-drops. We'll try it. Well, Swamp and Diagraph Ghoul. Opponent thinking about using their Force of Will. The old turn 1 tank. Alright. Resolves. Pass the turn. Flooded Strand. Cracks it. Gets an island. Serum Visions. Opponent passing. Well, play a swamp. Play Graveyard Marshal. Opponent thinking about that Force of Will. Trying to decide what is the most important zombie to spend that Force of Will on. Decisions. Alright. Let's it go. Get in with Diagraph Ghoul. Pass the turn. Opponent. Ooh. Zalfrin Void. Okay. That's new. Oh, Howling Mine. Is this a Turbo Fog deck? I don't know if we can beat a Turbo Fog deck. We draw 2. Play a Swamp. Play Cemetery Reaper. Go attacking. Hit our opponent. Down to 10. Opponent draws 2. Or is this turns? Maybe this is turns. If this is turns, we might just be fast enough to kill our opponent before they can go off. Void. As foretold. We draw a Lord, a Lord. We'll play the land. Play the Lord. And, well, that's a turn 4 kill. Alright. Fast enough, fast enough. What do we want to... Jeez. What are we playing against? I'm assuming it's a turns deck. So I'm assuming we just want duresses over our removal spells. That's probably all we can really do. Go down Cast Down. Go down Dark Salvation. And just play our zombies, attack with our zombies, hope we can get there. Maybe, I guess we got to go down all the removal. Bring in a Spell Bomb. That's the least bad of our options. All right, try it like that. All right, we got our 1-drops. I mean, I think our best way of winning is just to attack. So we'll keep it. I mean, 1-drop, 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 Lord. Keep swinging. Maybe draw a Duress for a little bit of tempo. Island for our opponent. Answer Visions. Opponent leaves 1 on top, passes. Well, play the Swamp and Diregraph Ghoul. Pass the turn. Opponent. Island. And passes. More swamps. Well, get in with Diregraph Ghoul. Hit our opponent. Play Crypt Breaker. Play Diregraph Ghoul. Pass the turn. Opponent has a Telling Time. Would be nice to find a Duress at some point. I don't know if we're going to be fast enough here. Leaves a card on top. Is it an extra turn miracle? It is. Well, that's what our opponent was hoping for. So, free turn for our opponent off the Temporal Mastery. The blue Rampant Growth. Hollowed Fountain tapped. Extra turn. Untaps. Island. Opponent passes. Jeez. Well, play Death Baron. Man, this is a lot of swamps and few duresses. Go attacking. Well, we definitely do not want swamp number 15,000. So to the bottom. And now I guess we lose. Pollen Lullaby. Opponent wins the clash. So this is a fog deck? What is going on? What is going on? Miracles and fogs and just all kinds of stuff. Glacial Fortress. Yeah, not 100% sure what's happening here, but I'm assuming it's bad for us. Days Undoing. Well, let's duress our opponent. Somehow we drew into a million swamps again. Wow, opponent does not have much going on, though. Take the Time Warp. Play a Swamp. Play Gravecrawler. I think our opponent needs to top deck. Opponent ran even worse than we did off of that draw 7. Opponent needs a top deck or they're just straight up dead. I mean, they definitely have outs. They could top deck an extra turn spell and proceed to combo off. They could top deck a Fog to stay alive. Man, that double Fog Pollen Lullaby was brutal. Gravecrawler. Diregraph Ghoul. Get in with Death Baron. Opponent to 16. Pass the turn. We got lethal. We got lethal for next turn. Does our opponent top deck? Jace. So Jace lets our opponent brainstorm for a Fog. Plays a land. Howling Mine. Oh, our opponent doesn't know that they're dead. Okay, that makes it easy. Well, play Cemetery Reaper. Play the land. Attack our opponent. And there's no free fogs, no Force of Fog, and we got there. boy, I feel like we're a little fortunate. Turbo Fog should wreck zombies, but one duress is all it takes sometimes. So hey, all right, but all right, budget magic time. Playing some zombies, mono black zombies in modern. This hand's a bit slower than we want. If it's a matchup where just figures good, it's fine. We don't have any 1 or 2 drops. I think we got a mulligan. Oh boy. All right. Well, we can't mulligan again. We definitely do not want second Dark Salvation. Swamp go. Well, this hand's still pretty slow. Depressingly slow. We have nice swamps though, so we're winning on that front. Inspiring Vantage. This is a matchup where this figure would be good. Gets him a Goblin Guide. We get Gravecrawler. Boo. Well, play Swamp, play Gravecrawler. Pass the turn. Wooded Foothills. More Goblin Guides. Opponent cracks. Not looking too hopeful here. Oh my god, triple Goblin Guide Tron. Alright, well, no matter how many disfigures we kept, we were not winning this. Come on, 3 lands. No lands. Card we can't cast. And yeah, we will scoop it up. Yeah, I mean, there's not anything we can do from here. We don't have lands to cast it. We have all of our 3 drops, none of our early drops. So bring in disfigures. Bring in Doomblades. Go down Dark Salvations. I mean, we basically got a race. That's where we are at in this matchup. We just need to kill our opponent before they kill us. Which I think means maybe we just cut a couple Crypt Breakers. Crypt Breaker's great, but the life loss is not great. Alright, we get to play first. Alright. I mean, his hand is not exciting, but we'll try it. Swamp go. Opponent. Wow. Accidentally passes their turn. Okay. Well, we draw another land, so as sad as it sounds, I think our opponent might accidentally skip their turn and still be favored to win. Which is extremely depressing. Opponent. Sacred Foundry. Untapped. And there's Goblin Guide. Opponent. Gonna go attacking. Well, let's see what's on top of our deck. More swamps. Well, we're going to take it down to 18. Oh, my goodness. Well, get him a Graveyard Marshal. That's less than ideal. Hit our opponent. We are on the super mega ultra flood out plan, which is not the best game winning plan most of the time. Graveyard Marshal go. I mean, we're playing things, but we have so many lands and so little action. Opponent, untap, down to 13. Expecting them to kill our, Searing Blaze. That's a sad way for it to go. Opponent gets it. We have Goblin Guide. Lord of the Accursed on top. Yeah, this draw's been so clunky. Opponent passes. Well, play the Swamp. Play Lord of the Accursed. Get in with Graveyard Marshal. Maybe we can still win the race. If our opponent has another land Searing Blaze, that's even less likely. We pretty much need 2 more turns to have a chance of winning here. Opponent. Lightning Bolts. Ugh, Rest in Peace. Alright. That does slow us down. Especially since we have mono lands. Gets him a Goblin Guide. Another Graveyard Marshal on top. Well, play the Swamp. Play Highborn Ghoul. Play Graveyard Marshal. Get in with Graveyard Marshal. Hit our opponent to 4. And hope that we live. Wooded Foothills. Rest in Peace does shut down some of our synergies. Ensnaring Bridge. Okay. And that might just beat us. With our opponent at 1 life. Get in with Highborn Ghoul. Wow. Oh, they have a path. And yeah, that does it. One of the downsides of being mono black, we don't have good answers to the jank amounts. Yeah, alright. We will scoop it up. I mean, yeah, we're not dead immediately, but we just cannot actually kill our opponent. Well, that was interesting. Ugh, zombies. Zombies. So what do we learn this week about mono black zombies in Modern? And overall, so for the record, it was a little bit weird. So we finished 3-2 in our video matches, but actually we played blue-white control like a trillion times. We beat it once, we lost to it once, and then as I was trying to record the matches, I ran into it 3 more times, and ended up scooping each of those matches once I realized what it was, because we had already played it so many times. So I guess we'll go with 3-3 overall for the next record, because I'm not going to count all those scoop on turn 3 because we already recorded blue-white control matchups. So we were able to put up a pretty good performance. We beat Grixis Death Shadow. We were able to get in under the control deck. On the other hand, Grixis Delver, that matchup was crazy. Or Grixis, I don't even know what that deck was still. It looked like Grixis Delver control-ish, but lots of wizards too. That was a match I felt like we could have won, but we just couldn't quite find the right things at the right time, and our opponent had some really impactful sideboard cards, like Is It Staticaster to combine with removal. And then the burn matchup, one of the downsides of the deck is we don't have a great catch-up mechanism. It's not like we have a timely reinforcements or core Firewalker to gain back life if we fall behind. So we're basically trying to race burn, and we would have race burned in game 2, but then we also don't have an answer to Ensnaring Bridge, so that kind of got us. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how the deck turned out considering the budget. And one of the nice things about the zombie deck, if you start with a shell, there's a lot of different directions you can go while still being zombies. So first off, you can just upgrade mono black zombies, play Relentless Dead, for example. You throw in Thought Seizes, maybe if you have the budget for them. Improve the removal a little bit. Dismember is a good option over Disfigure or Fatal Pushes. So you can go mono black. You can splash into white to get some really good sideboard cards. Plus, the weakest slot in the deck is the 2-drop slot. Right now it's Highborn Ghoul. In mono black, if you upgrade, you can go Relentless Dead. If you go into white, you get Tidehollow Sculler, which is a great option in the 2-drop slot. You could even play green-black. We played a green-black zombie deck a long time ago with Lotleth Troll. So there's a lot of things you could do with the zombie shell, but it felt like with the abundance of strong lords, with Lord of the Accursed being cheaper, Death Baron being cheaper, Graveyard Marshal suddenly giving the deck another really good 2-drop option, it makes the zombie tribe pretty appealing in Modern at the moment. So I feel like the tribe is actually pretty good. If you just look up the curve, discounting the Highborn Ghoul, which in defense of Highborn Ghoul, it was pretty impressive in some matchups, being able to sneak in past defense thanks to Intimidate. So it isn't as bad as it looks, although it's definitely the least powerful card in the slot. But if you discount Highborn Ghoul for a minute and just look up the curve, the deck is solid. I mean, Crypt Breaker is always strong. It's just such a good, flexible magic card. Gravecrawler coming back from the graveyard, very strong in some matchups. Diagraph Ghoul is fine. Graveyard Marshal, the new threat from M19, proved itself to be very good. We didn't actually use its graveyard ability very often, but it would come up in the right matchups. The ability to kind of play it on turn 5 in a removal heavy matchup like against Jund and immediately eat something, so you're spending 5 mana to get basically 5 power across 2 bodies, is a really nice upside for grindy matchups. And then the lords are very strong as well, so I was impressed by the deck's ability to get some kind of free wins where you just go 1-drop, 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 lord, and you just kill your opponent like on turn 4. I think our fastest kill was a turn 4 kill, but it also could go long better than most aggro tribal decks, just with all the cool synergies. So I'm actually pretty excited for the zombie tribe. Our record was reasonable. There's lots of upgrade paths. There's lots of flexibility if you splash into other colors. And the great thing about building zombies is it's one of the most supported tribes in all of Magic, outside of maybe humans, which I think is the most supported tribe. Like whenever a new set comes out, there's always humans. Zombies is in that next tier where pretty much every set you're getting some number of zombies. So if you build the deck as your budget deck, you're always going to have new cars you can cycle in as well to mess around with. So I think it fits really well as a budget deck. So if you're looking for an aggro tribal focused monocolored zombie deck, I think this is a good budget option. And like I said, lots of directions you can go with the shell as well. So anyway, that's been our budget magic for this week. Mono black zombies for Modern. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.